Hello and welcome to the Quibber channel. I'm Jason, your host. I'm just going to find something. There we are. I spent at the shop. I'll just okay, £13 and 18 pence. £13 and 18 pence, which is perfect. That is an amount of money that is fine to spend. I bought about another week's worth of veg and another week's worth of meat for my stew that I have. So actually, that is really good. Let's turn all the things on, turn the lights on, and let's go. I could have probably afforded to pick up a couple of bits of dog stuff, but dog treats and that are really, it's sometimes really much cheaper for me to pick up dog treats at the actual Amazon and buy some bulk stuff in. So we've got 2 bags of food, a 1 kilogram bag of vegetables. Usually I use 10% of each one, so 10% green beans. So 100 grams of green beans, 100 grams of mixed veg, 100 grams of peas, garden peas, and then I add in some bacon, a single sausage. I've got like 40 sausages in the freezer, so I'm okay for sausages. And that's what my lunch is. That is what's cooking at the moment in the house. And I'll have it between 9 and 11 o'clock, depending on how I feel. No, I've done something today that I'm sad about, but I had to. I'll talk about it on the video that I make as well today. Well, I will talk about it as well. I have cancelled my pre-order for Forza Horizon 6. Because I want to wait and see if Microsoft has done anything stupid. I love the Forza Horizon game, but some of the things that Microsoft has done recently with Copilot and everything else, it's just made me very hesitant. Usually, there's 2 games that that I would usually just pre-order and be completely happy. The first is Forza, and the second is anything from Bethesda. I always pre-ordered Skyrim and all that kind of thing, but now it's like I'm going to wait and see if they fuck things up. Whenever Elder Scrolls 6 does come out, I'm going to wait till it launches and find out how they've locked it down to modders and stuff like that. Because I don't trust them. I don't trust Microsoft anymore. I know I should never have trusted Microsoft, but up until a certain amount of time ago, you could basically depend on certain things. that they weren't idiots. But they've gone so far into the AI crap that nearly everything they touch, they force AI on you. And so I will no longer pre-order anything from Microsoft. Doesn't say I'm not going to play Forza. Let's go across here before it things. No, wait here. I'm not going to go if the light's gone. The thing is, if money, it's very important to me. As in, I have to budget every freaking thing. So, if I'm going to buy a new game these days, especially seeing I've got over 1,300 games just on Steam alone, if I'm going to buy a new game, I'm going to be absolutely fucking sure that I'm going to actually enjoy it and want to play it. Because I can't afford to waste 50-60 pounds. Now the good thing is that Steam allows you to refund things. Steam allows you 2 hours, but I'm sorry, 2 hours is not enough time on a game like Forza Horizon 6 or a game from Bethesda to see whether or not they're going to fuck things up. It used to be a given that we would get a full creation kit with a Bethesda game. It used to be a given that there would be no limitation to the ability to mod outside their framework. You can now no longer take that as a given with games from Bethesda, which is sad. It's why I still play I play Skyrim still, heavily modified, yes. But I still go back to Skyrim. And so, I'm not saying I'm not going to buy the next Elder Scrolls. But I'm going to wait until it releases. And unfortunately the same goes for Forza Horizon 6. I really hope they don't. Now there's ways they could add more AI to it that would be nice, but I don't trust them. I don't trust Microsoft anymore. So I'm sorry about that little rant, but felt like it needed to be done. Beep, 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 says the Jace. It's a lovely day. We're coming up to 7 o'clock in the morning. I've been out for about an hour. I'm very happy that I only spent £13. Oh, takeaways are really expensive these days. I hate to be that guy saying, I remember when I could do this. But the thing is, we're not talking about 10, 20, 30 years ago. We're talking about 5 years ago, 4 years ago. We're talking about just after, well, just before COVID hit. Just before we got hit with the virus that altered many things. The cost of so many things went through the roof and never came down. You used to be able to get fish and chips for a couple of pounds. In 2019, we're not talking generational inflation, that happens. We are talking about in the span of 4 or 5 years maximum that you now have to spend 20, 30, 40 pounds on a takeout, which most of us cannot afford. I remember even a really nice takeout for 2 people you could do for under £10. In fact, spending £10 was a lot. But you could have a Balti, you could have starters, you can have so many different meals. How special fried rice was like £1.80. Now it's like £6.50. The prices haven't just doubled, they've tripled in some cases. Same with food. Before a certain virus hit, you could buy pasta, basic spaghetti pasta, for like 17, 18, 19, 20 pence. That same thing is now 5 times more expensive for the basic version. You could buy a tin of beans for 20 pence. You could buy tuna for 35 pence a can. Now that same can of tuna is £1.50. The prices have gone by times 5. We're not talking about small amounts here. And one of the reasons I talk about it to do with disabled people and people on benefits is because whereas if you're working, it's hard, but you can pick up an extra shift. You can do a bit extra. You can move to a new job. I know it's not easy, and I know the challenges of that kind of thing. I'm not against. But as a person who's disabled, whose only income is from the government benefit system, that benefit system doesn't increase. It increases by 5-10% per year. I am spending at least twice as much on electricity than I used to. I am spending 3 times to 4 times as much on food. These are basic things that are now 3 to 5 times more expensive than they were 5 years ago. And the increase in disability benefits and that, which is supposed to cover food as well, any kind of food that you have to have because you're disabled, or add-ons and things like that. Anything to do with making it so that you equalise. The whole point, disability benefits, personal independence payment and all that, were all supposed to be to level the playing field, to allow a disabled person to keep up with someone who's not disabled. That stopped being the truth. What was it? Scope, I believe it was, did a massive research into this, and the most you can get out of HIP is 750, something like that, and that is like the maximum for the absolute severe cases. I get 500 odd. They have worked out that the average Not even severe, but the average disabled person has £1,100 more costs per month, not per year, per month, every month of their life, compared to an able-bodied person. So if an able-bodied person can earn a certain £1,000, a disabled person has to earn double that to have the same standard of living. That is what most able-bodied people don't get. That being disabled means that a lot of things are limited. You have to buy the extras. You have to buy, even when you do a shop, you have limitation. There's so many limitations to being disabled, so many extra costs to being disabled, that an able-bodied person doesn't have any. It isn't a oranges for oranges situation. You can't compare exactly. When people say, oh, this person gets this amount of money for not going to work and I only get the same amount for working 40 hours a week. Nearly every disabled person I know would happily go to work 40 hours if they weren't disabled. Disability isn't a grift. Disability isn't something that makes our lives easier. I love my Quingo. I love my mobility scooter. I love being able to leave the house. But you know what I wish I could do? I wish I could, without a moment's thought, put my coat on, walk out the front door, walk down onto the canal and go for a walk down the canal. Or I wish I could take the dog for a walk. I wish I could go to some of the smaller shops. I wish I could visit my friend. I wish I could just walk onto a train and visit my friend. I would happily work 40 hours a week for that. I would happily do a job if that was possible for me. I really would. I would fucking love it. I love my Quingo. I love the independence it gives me, but it's still limited independence. There's places I can't go. Freedom is limited. And really, I was really hoping that during a certain virus, when people were locked down, they would appreciate and realise what it was like, what it's like every single day for a disabled person. You were all driven crazy by not being able to go and get your lattes and to visit the pub and that. And you were only locked down for like 4 weeks, a month, two months at most. Most people who are disabled have been locked down for an entire life. Their front door has been a barrier for however long they're alive. It is not a day out. It is not, oh, you just get to just sit at home and do nothing. No. Every disabled person I know would freaking love to be able to go out and have a time, have a job, the self-worth, the wonderful self-worth that you get from earning money, to not relying on government handouts, which they can change at any point in time or take away at any point in time. And that's the sucky thing about it. We have no control, no agency. We have no way to make a bit more money when prices go up. We are completely and totally under the thumb of the government. You complain about your privacy and everything. Disabled people have no privacy. Our bank accounts are completely audited. Our entire lives are. Anyway, so I will say bye-bye now. Bye-bye. I hope you're all having a good day.